The red warning lights flashed across Jake Morrison's cargo ship. He held the controls with bloody hands. His small ship shook hard as he tried to keep it steady. The pirates had hurt his ship more than he thought. Black smoke filled the cockpit. Sparks flew from the broken control panel. "Come on, girl. Just hold together a little longer," Jake whispered, his teeth tight together. His left shoulder hurt badly. Something wet and warm dripped down his forehead. He could taste blood in his mouth, but he did not care. Right now, staying alive was the only thing that mattered. The ship's computer spoke in a flat, robotic voice. "Hull breach detected. Life support systems failing. Recommend immediate evacuation." Jake laughed a sad, rough laugh. Evacuate to where? They were in the middle of empty space. But then he saw something on his scanner. A big shape appeared on his screen, floating in the dark. It looked like a medical station, all white and clean, with blue lights along its sides. Jake had heard of these places. They were safe zones. Any species could get help there. No questions asked. Medical Station Kepler 7. This is cargo ship Blue Runner. I need an emergency landing. Jake said into his radio. My ship is breaking. I need help now. A strange voice answered him. It sounded like music and static mixed together. Blue Runner, this is Kepler 7 Control. We hear your call for help. You can land in Emergency Bay 3. Doctors are waiting for you. Jake tried to point his ship toward a landing bay, but the controls felt loose and wrong. The ship tipped to one side. A sharp, hot pain shot through his ribs. He pressed one hand against his side and used the other to steer. Something was definitely broken in there. The landing bay got bigger as he flew closer. Jake could see alien shapes moving inside, getting ready for him. He had never been to a place like this, but he heard they had the best doctors in the galaxy. Maybe they could fix him up enough to get home. The ship hit the landing bay floor with a loud crash. Jake's body slammed forward against his safety straps. More pain exploded in his chest and back. The ship slid across the metal floor, throwing sparks everywhere, until it finally stopped against a wall. Jake sat in his chair, breathing hard. Everything hurt. His head felt dizzy. He felt warm blood running down his face. He tried to move his right arm, but it sent waves of pain through his shoulder. His left leg felt strange, like it was not attached right. Outside, he heard voices speaking languages he did not know. Footsteps clanged on the metal floor as the medical team came to his ship. Jake tried to reach for the door controls, but his eyes could not see clearly. The pain in his chest made it hard to breathe. The ship's door opened with a loud hiss. Cool, clean air rushed in, pushing away some smoke. Jake looked up and saw 3 aliens standing in the doorway. The tallest one looked like it was made of blue crystal. It had 6 arms and eyes that glowed like tiny stars. The other 2 were shorter and covered in silver fur. Human male, can you hear me? Her voice was like wind chimes. Beautiful, but strange. I am Dr. Starry, the main doctor here. You are safe now. Jake tried to speak, but only a weak cough came out. Blood spattered from his mouth. The crystal doctor made a sound like breaking glass. Jake guessed that meant she was worried. Get the emergency stretcher, Dr. Starry told her helpers. This one is very hurt. I can see many bad injuries. The silver-furred aliens, who Jake thought were nurses, quickly brought a floating stretcher. It hummed softly as it stopped next to his chair. Dr. Starry moved closer, her crystal hands glowing with a soft blue light. Human, I need to look at you before we move you. Do not try to talk. Just listen to my voice. Jake nodded weakly. The alien doctor's hands moved over his body without touching him. The blue light seemed to go right through his clothes and skin. Her star-like eyes got wider as she worked. By the void, she whispered. Nurse Kindle, look at these readings. One of the furry nurses looked at a device in her hands. She made a chittering sound that Jake thought was alarm. Doctor, the scanner shows his bones are broken in many places. How is he still awake? Dr. Starry's 6 arms moved in a way that looked confused. I do not know. This much damage should have made his body shut down immediately. Maybe our machines are broken. Jake wanted to tell them he was okay, that he had been hurt worse before, but he could not make the words. His throat felt raw. Every breath was a sharp pain in his chest. The world was starting to get dark around the edges. "We need to get him to medical bay now," Dr. Starry said. "I have never seen anyone live with this much damage. His kind must have amazing healing powers." The nurses carefully moved Jake from his chair to the floating stretcher. Every movement sent new waves of pain through his body. He groaned softly, trying not to yell. The last thing he wanted was to look weak in front of these alien doctors. They rushed him through the halls of the medical station. Jake saw quick looks of other aliens. Some looked like walking trees with purple leaves. Others were small and round with too many eyes. A few looked almost human, but their skin changed colors like a rainbow. The medical bay was huge and white. Machines hummed and beeped softly. Strange lights moved on the walls. The air smelled clean and sharp. Dr. Starry guided the stretcher to a table in the middle of the room. "Carefully now," she told her staff. "We do not know how easy it is to hurt his species. The wrong move could make things worse." Jake almost smiled at that. If only she knew how many times he had been hurt in bar fights, crash landings, and sports. But he did not have the energy to explain. His eyes felt heavy. The pain made it hard to think. Dr. Starry put several warm devices on his body. They made soft beeping sounds. "Run a full checkup," she ordered. "I want to know exactly what is wrong with him." The nurses worked fast, their furry hands moving over screens. Jake watched their faces as the results came in. They looked from worried to shocked to something that looked like they could not believe it. "Doctor," Nurse Kendall said, her voice shaking, "you need to see this." Dr. Starry looked at the main screen. Her crystal body flickered with different colors. "This cannot be right. Run the scan again." "I have run it 3 times, the nurse replied. "The results are the same." Jake wondered what had them so scared. Sure, he felt pretty banged up, but he had walked away from worse crashes. His dad always said the Morrison family was too stubborn to die easy. Maybe these aliens had never seen a human before and did not know how tough they were. The pain was getting worse, though. His ribs felt like they were on fire. His shoulder throbbed like a drum. His leg was starting to go numb, which was never a good sign. Maybe he was hurt worse than he thought. Dr. Starry came back to the stretcher, her star-like eyes looking right at him. "Human, you are very badly hurt. We're going to help you, but you must stay calm. Do not try to move." Jake tried to nod, but even that small movement sent pain through his neck. The alien doctor made more wind chime sounds, and Jake realized she was probably talking to herself in her own language. "Prepare the intensive care unit," Dr. Starry finally said. "Contact Dr. Morick. We will need an expert on alien biology for this." As they wheeled him toward another room, Jake wondered what the big deal was. He had been in lots of accidents before. This was just another day for a cargo pilot. But the worried looks on the alien faces told him that maybe, just maybe, this time was different. Dr. Starry stood in front of the big screen, her 6 crystal arms shaking a little as she stared. The hologram showed Jake's skeleton in perfect detail. Bright red marks lit up every single break. She had been a doctor for 200 years, helping dozens of different species. But she had never, ever seen anything like this. "Nurse Kendall, come here now," she called, her voice cracking like ice. The silver nurse hurried over, her big ears twitching nervously. She looked at the screen and let out a sharp gasp. "Doctor, this can't be real. No one could live with this much damage." Dr. Starry counted the red marks again, hoping she was wrong. 17. There were 17 separate broken bones. She pointed to different spots on the display. 3 ribs on the left, 2 on the right. His left shoulder blade is cracked in 2 places. His right arm is completely broken below the elbow. Both legs have many breaks. Nurse Kendall first stood straight up, a sign she was very stressed. "Doctor, in my 20 years as a nurse, I have never seen a patient live through more than 3 big breaks. This human should be dead." "That is exactly what I thought," Dr. Starry replied, her body flickering between blue and purple. "But look at his vital signs." She pointed to another screen showing Jake's heartbeat, blood pressure, and brain waves. All were normal for his species. His heart is strong, his breathing is steady. His brain shows no signs of shock. The second nurse, a young one named Tick, came closer. "Doctor, I checked the machines 3 times. They are not broken. The readings are correct." Dr. Starry walked over to the bed where Jake lay, unconscious. His face was pale and had dried blood on it, but he looked peaceful for someone who should be dying. His chest moved up and down steadily. "I must contact Dr. Morrick right away," she said, moving to a communication panel. "This is too much for me. We need a specialist." The screen flickered to life, showing the face of Dr. Morrick. He was a tall, thin alien with green skin and 4 eyes that moved on their own. His species, the Koran, were known for being very smart scientists. "Dr. Starry," he said, sounding tired, "what is so important that you wake me up?" "Morrick, I need you in Medical Base 7 now. We have a situation. A human with 17 broken bones who is not only alive, but stable." All 4 Dr. Morrick's eyes snapped to look at the screen. 17? Did you say 17 fractures? Yes, and that is not the strangest part. His vital signs are normal. He shows no shock, no organ failure. By every medical book I have read, this being should have died hours ago. Dr. Morrick was quiet for a long moment, his eyes moving fast as he thought. "I will be there in 10 minutes. Do not move the patient. Do not give him any medicine until I arrive. If what you say is true, we may be looking at a species unlike any we have ever met." The screen went dark. Dr. Starry walked back to the diagnostic screen and studied the breaks more carefully. Each one was clear, and many looked like they should have caused terrible damage inside. Nurse Kendall spoke quietly. "I have been thinking, what if humans are just built different? What if their bones are not as important as ours are?" Dr. Starry thought about this. "It is possible, but not likely. Bones give the body structure and protect our organs. Without them, the body should fall apart." Tick, who had been quietly running more scans, suddenly spoke up. "Doctor, I found something interesting. The human's bones are much thicker and heavier than any species in our records. His bones are almost twice as thick as they should be for his size." "Show me," Dr. Starry ordered. The young nurse brought up a comparison chart on a smaller screen. Jake's bone structure appeared next to a typical Valari, a Koran, and others. The difference was amazing. Where other species had thin, delicate bones, Jake's were thick and strong. "His bones are like armor," Tick observed. "Even broken, they still protect his insides." Dr. Starry's crystal body began to glow brighter. This could explain why he is still alive, but not why he is awake and stable. The pain alone should have put him into shock. Just then, Dr. Morrick arrived, moving quickly on his long legs. He went straight to the screen and began studying the results. His 4 eyes took in every detail of Jake's condition. "Fascinating," he murmured, his green skin turning a darker shade. "Absolutely fascinating." "What do you think?" Dr. Starry asked. "I think we are looking at a species that evolved on a world far more dangerous than anything we know," Dr. Morrick said. "These humans must come from a place where getting badly hurt is normal, and surviving means being able to keep going even when you are broken." Dr. Morrick moved closer to Jake's bed and began taking his own measurements with a special device. "Look at the old scars on his hands and arms. These are from old injuries that healed. This being has been badly hurt before and lived." "But 17 fractures?" Nurse Kendall protested. "How is that possible?" "Perhaps," Dr. Morrick said slowly, "humans think of serious injury very differently than we do. What we think will kill you might just be a problem to them." Dr. Starry felt a chill go through her crystal body. "You mean they might be used to this?" It would explain everything. The normal vital signs, a lack of shock, his calm breathing. This human is not fighting for his life because to him, these injuries are not deadly. The medical team stood in stunned silence, watching Jake sleep peacefully, even with enough broken bones to kill 3 members of any other species they knew. Dr. Morrick continued his scans, writing everything down. "I am going to contact the Galactic Medical Council. This discovery could change everything we know about healing and survival. Should we wake him up? Tick asked nervously. Not yet, Dr. Starry replied. Let his body rest and start to heal. But I want someone watching him all the time. If humans are really this tough, we need to understand how their bodies fix themselves. Dr. Morrick looked up from his machine. I have another theory. If they can survive this, their healing must be incredible. Their bodies might repair themselves without any help from doctors. That is impossible, Nurse Kendall said. A few hours ago, I would have agreed with you, Dr. Morrick replied. But this human has already shown us that what we know about life is not complete. Dr. Starry began writing detailed reports while her staff kept watching Jake. Every few minutes, she would look at the screen, still not able to believe it. 17 broken bones, and the human was sleeping like a baby. Doctor, Tick said suddenly, his heart rate is going up. I think he is waking up. All eyes turned to the bed where Jake Morrison was starting to move. His eyes fluttered open, and he let out a soft groan. Dr. Starry felt her whole body get tight with worry and excitement. When this human learned how hurt he was, how would he react? Would he finally go into shock? Would he panic? They were about to find out just how different humans really were. Jake Morrison's eyes opened slowly, blinking against the bright white lights of the medical bay. Everything felt fuzzy and far away, like he was swimming up from the bottom of a deep pool. His mouth was dry and his head felt heavy. But he was alive. That was always a good start. The first thing he noticed was the faces staring down at him. 3 alien beings stood around his bed, their expressions a strange mix of fear and amazement. The tall crystal woman he remembered from the crash was there, along with the green-skinned alien with 4 eyes, and the furry nurse who looked like she might faint at any moment. Human Jake Morrison, the crystal doctor said carefully, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. You are awake. How do you feel? Jake tried to sit up, but sharp pain shot through his ribs. He winced and settled back down on the bed. Like I got hit by a freight train, he said with a weak smile. But I felt worse. Thanks for patching me up. Document. Dr. Starry's crystal body flickered with different colors, which Jake was starting to realize meant she was upset or confused. Mr. Morrison, I need to discuss your condition with you. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Sure thing, Jake replied. Try and get comfortable on the strange bed. What's the damage? Couple of broken ribs, maybe a busted arm. The 4-eyed alien stepped forward. I am Dr. Morrick, a specialist in alien biology. Mr. Morrison, your injuries are far more severe than you seem to realize. Jake raised an eyebrow. How severe are we talking here? I mean, I'm still breathing, so it can't be that bad. Dr. Starry moved to a screen beside the bed and activated a holographic display of Jake's skeleton. The image showed his bones in perfect detail, with bright red marks highlighting every fracture and break. Jake stared at the display, counting the red spots. Oh, he said after a moment. That's more than I thought. The alien doctors watched him carefully, waiting for panic or shock to set in. Instead, Jake just looked thoughtful, like he was trying to remember something. 17 fractures, Dr. Morrick said quietly. 3 ribs on the left side, 2 on the right. Your left shoulder blade is cracked in 2 places. A complete break in your right arm, multiple fractures in both legs, and several smaller breaks in your hands and feet. Jake nodded slowly. That sounds about right. The crash was pretty rough. I figured I'd bang myself up good when I felt that pop on my shoulder. Nurse Kendall made a small squeaking sound. Mr. Morrison, do you understand what we are telling you? You have 17 broken bones. You should be dead. Jake looked at her with genuine confusion. Dead? From this? Nah, I've had worse. The silence that followed was so complete that Jake could hear the soft humming of the medical equipment. All 3 alien doctors stared at him with expressions of complete disbelief. You have had worse? Dr. Starry asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Oh, sure, Jake said casually. This is nothing compared to the time I fell off a cliff on Proxima 7. Broke my back in 3 places, both legs, and had a concussion that lasted for weeks. Or there was that bar fight on Europa Station where I got thrown through a window. That was a mess. Dr. Morrick's eyes were all focused on Jake. You survived a broken back? Took about 6 months to heal up properly, Jake said. But yeah, Dad always said we Morrisons were too stubborn to die easy. He tried to shift position again and grimaced. Though I got to admit, these ribs are killing me. They always hurt the worst. They always hurt the worst? Nurse Kendall repeated faintly. Jake looked at her with concern. You okay there? You look like you're about to pass out. Mr. Morrison, Dr. Starry said carefully, in our experience, 3 major fractures are usually fatal. 17 should be impossible to survive. Jake looked genuinely surprised. Really? I didn't know that. I mean, I figured you folks were pretty tough, being aliens and all. But I guess every species is different. Dr. Morrick pulled up a chair and sat down beside the bed. Tell us about your previous injuries. All of them. Jake thought for a moment, trying to remember everything. Well, let's see. Broke my arm twice as a kid. Once falling out of a tree, once in a bicycle accident. Shattered my ankle playing football in high school. That one took forever to heal. He paused, counting on his fingers. Cracked 4 ribs in basic training when I fell off an obstacle course. Broke my nose 3 times, twice in fights and once when I walked into a door. Fractured my wrist in that bar fight I mentioned. Dislocated my shoulder about 6 times doing various stupid things. The alien doctors listened in growing amazement as Jake continued his list. Dr. Morrick was taking notes on a small device, his hands shaking slightly. Mr. Morrison, Dr. Morrick finally interrupted. On your world, do all humans sustain this level of injury and survive? Pretty much, Jake replied. I mean, some folks are more careful than others, but most people I know have broken at least a few bones. It's just part of life, you know? Kids fall down, adults get into accidents, athletes get hurt playing sports. Athletes? Nurse Kendall asked. People who play sports for a living, Jake explained. Football, hockey, boxing, extreme sports. They get hurt all the time. Some of them have had dozens of broken bones over their careers and keep on playing. Jake noticed the aliens were all looking at him like he was some kind of monster. Hey, don't look at me like that. It's not like we enjoy getting hurt. It just happens and we deal with it. Dr. Starry's crystal body was now cycling through colors so rapidly it was making Jake dizzy. Mr. Morrison, what you are describing is impossible. No species can survive repeated severe trauma like that. Well, humans can, Jake said simply. I mean, we're not invincible or anything. People die from injuries all the time. But broken bones? That's just Tuesday for most of us. Dr. Morrick looked up from his notes. How do you treat these injuries on your world? Depends on how bad they are. Jake said, simple breaks. You just set the bone and put in a cast for a few weeks. Compound fractures need surgery. Really bad ones might need metal plates or rods. He gestured to his left leg. I've got a titanium rod in my femur from that cliff incident I mentioned. Metal implants? Dr. Starry asked. Yeah, to help hold the bone together while it heals. Pretty common procedure. My brother has 3 of them, and my sister has 2. Dad's got so much metal in him, he sets off security scanners at spaceports. The alien doctors exchanged glances that Jake couldn't interpret. They seemed to be having some kind of silent conversation. Mr. Morrison, Dr. Morrick finally said, would you be willing to help us understand human physiology better? Your species appears to have capabilities we never imagined possible. Jake shrugged, then winced as the movement aggravated his shoulder. Sure, I guess. Not like I'm going anywhere soon anyway. He looked at their shocked faces. When do you think I'll be able to get back to work? Work? Nurse Kendall squeaked. You want to return to work? Well, yeah, I've got deliveries to make. People are counting on me. Jake looked at their shocked faces. What? How long does it usually take to heal up from something like this? Dr. Starry was quiet for a long moment. Mr. Morrison, if any member of our species survived injuries like yours, which they would not, the recovery time would be measured in years, possibly decades. Jake stared at her. Years? For broken bones? That's crazy. I should be up and around in a couple of weeks. Maybe a month for the really bad ones. The silence stretched out again. Jake was beginning to realize that humans might be very different from other species in ways he had never considered. The thought was both exciting and a little scary. "Doc," he said finally, "I think we need to have a much longer talk about this whole situation." Word traveled fast through Medical Station Kepler 7. Within hours of Jake Morrison casually talking about his 17 broken bones, every doctor, nurse, and researcher had heard about the impossible human. They came in small groups to see him, speaking in hushed whispers as they stared at his medical scans. Dr. Thari had never seen anything like it. Her lab was now filled with data about human bodies, and every new fact made humans seem more incredible. Jake lay in his bed, propped up on pillows, answering questions from a steady stream of alien medical professionals. He was getting tired of telling the same stories, but the aliens seemed so amazed that he didn't want to disappoint them. "So, you regularly do things that hurt your bones on purpose?" asked Dr. Velkin, a spider-like alien with 8 arms that moved as she took notes. "Well, yeah," Jake replied, shifting to get comfortable. "Exercise is good for you. Running, lifting heavy things, rock climbing, martial arts. It makes your bones stronger." Dr. Velkin's eyes widened. "Your bones become stronger when you damage them?" "Not damage, exactly, but stressed. When you put pressure on bones, they grow denser and stronger. It's called adaptation," Jake explained. "If you don't use your muscles and bones, they get weak. So we exercise to keep them strong." A young doctor with purple skin and tentacles for hair raised a hand. "Mr. Morrison, you mentioned martial arts. Can you explain?" Jake grinned, despite the pain in his ribs. "Fighting sports, boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts. People train for years to compete against each other." The room fell silent. Several aliens made sound of distress. "You fight each other for fun?" Dr. Thari asked carefully. "For sport, competition, exercise. It's fun. Well, mostly fun. Getting punched in the face isn't great, but the training is exciting." Jake saw their shocked faces. "It's not like we're trying to kill each other. There are rules." Dr. Morick was looking at Jake's brain scans. "This explains the old damage we see in your skull. You've hurt your head many times." "Yeah, probably. I played football in school, did some boxing, got in a few fights, plus all the accidents." Jake touched his nose, which was bent from being broken. "You learn to roll with the punches." The purple doctor asked, "Literally roll with the punches?" "It means you adapt to difficult situations. You don't let setbacks stop you." Jake tried to explain human thinking to aliens. "Humans don't give up easy. We get hurt, we heal, and we keep going." 3 weeks passed. Dr. Thari could hardly believe what she was seeing. Jake stood in the medical bay, moving his arms and legs through exercises that should have been impossible. "The healing is incredible," she told Dr. Morick. "His bones have fused stronger than before. By our math, this should have taken 15 years. Dr. Morick nodded, his 4 eyes watching Jake. "The pain tolerance alone changes everything we know. Yesterday, he said his ribs were a little sore while showing bone fusion that should have made him scream." Jake finished his exercises and walked over, moving with only a slight limp. "Hey, docs, how do I look? Ready to get back to work yet?" Dr. Thari's crystal body glowed a warm blue. "Mr. Morrison, your healing has been amazing, but I must ask you something. You plan to return to cargo hauling, which is dangerous. You even want to try rock climbing. Aren't you afraid of getting hurt again?" Jake looked confused. "Well, sure, I'll be careful. But I can't just stop living because I might get hurt. That's not really living at all." "Mr. Morrison," Dr. Morick said, "in the 3 weeks you've been here, we've learned things that have shocked the entire galactic medical community. The data we gather will change medicine across dozens of worlds." "That's great," Jake said. "But more than that," Dr. Thari continued, "you have changed what we think life can be. For centuries, we have focused only on survival. We avoid risk and live very carefully." Jake nodded slowly. "That makes sense if you're fragile. But it sounds kind of boring. Exactly, Dr. Morrick said, his green skin brightening. Humans don't just survive. You live. You seek challenges and overcome them. You treat what we think is impossible as just difficult. A communication alert chimed. Dr. Starry read the message, her body flickering with excitement. Mr. Morrison, the station commander says you can leave. Your ship is fixed and ready to go. Jake grinned. That's great news. He looked at the alien doctors who had become his friends. I'm going to miss you all, though. This has been really interesting. We will miss you too, Dr. Morrick said. You have given us a gift greater than medical knowledge. You have shown us that life can be about more than just surviving. Dr. Starry handed Jake a small communication device. Please take this. If you're ever hurt again, contact me. I want to keep learning about human healing. But more than that, I now consider you a friend. Jake took the device. Thanks, document. I'll definitely keep in touch. He stood up and stretched, amazed that his body felt almost normal. Before I go, what will you do with all this information about humans? Share it, Dr. Starry said immediately. The Galactic Medical Council will send teams to study human medicine and culture. We want to learn how your species became so strong. And, Dr. Morrick added, we want to learn how to live with your kind of courage. Jake was quiet for a moment. Just remember, being tough doesn't mean being stupid. We humans have learned to balance risk and safety over thousands of years. Don't go jumping off cliffs just because I said rock climbing is fun. Dr. Starry's body glowed with her version of laughter. We will be careful, Mr. Morrison, but we will also be braver than we have ever been before. As Jake walked to his ship, a crowd of alien researchers gathered to see him off. Mr. Morrison, a young scientist called out, is it true human children play games where they might get hurt? You mean sports? Yeah. Kids play football, soccer, basketball, all kinds of sports. It teaches them teamwork and how to handle competition. An elderly doctor stepped forward. And this is considered normal and healthy? Absolutely, Jake said. It's important for kids to be active. Plus, it's fun. The crowd murmured in many languages. Jake realized his simple answers were going to change how these aliens thought about life itself. Dr. Starry and Dr. Morrick walked with him to the airlock. You mentioned you will try rock climbing on Earth, Dr. Starry said. Why? Jake grinned and shouldered his bag. Because it looks like fun and I've never tried it before. Life's too short to play it safe all the time. But you could be injured again. Nurse Kendall protested. Sure I could, Jake said. But I could also have the time of my life and see amazing views from the top of a mountain. To me, that's worth the risk. As Jake's ship flew away from Medical Station Kepler 7, Dr. Starry stood at the observation deck, watching until it disappeared among the stars. In her hands was the most complete study of human physiology ever made, data that would change galactic medicine forever. But more importantly, she carried a new understanding of what it meant to truly live. The human had shown them that survival was not enough. Sometimes you had to risk everything to really be alive. Within months, Jake Morrison's story was known across the galaxy. Medical practices changed. Safety rules were rewritten. Entire species began to rethink their approach to life and risk. And somewhere in the cargo lanes, Jake Morrison kept hauling freight, telling stories, and proving every day that humans were the toughest species the galaxy had ever known. When he finally went rock climbing 6 months later, he sent Dr. Starry a picture of himself hanging from a cliff face with a huge smile. Her reply was simple. Humans are absolutely insane, and I wish my species had even half your courage. The story of the human who broke 17 bones and called it Tuesday became a legend, inspiring countless beings across the stars to live a little more boldly, to take chances, and to remember that sometimes the greatest risk is not risking anything at all.